All right. Nice and chill. Everything is nice and quiet right now. I have converted a lot of this code to be header file only, and I've even updated the make file such that if any of the headers are updated during the build process, we can trigger a rebuild, right? Thank you. I don't think that's the final title, but what's happening? You got here fast. Hope you're having a good Monday. Before I spiral off into the weeds, I need to focus on like actually getting something done today. So I got this script I found. Allows me to do this. Right? I can also do that, and I can also do that. So when we've got all three of them, what we can do is take the side, take the front, and I think that's pretty much it, right? Where am I? Oh damn, we got some viewers already, shit. Alright. So check it out. We're gonna do some real simple shit, right? Before I lose all my work, we're gonna flatten what we have here, copy it, head up over into a new file. And the placement is going to be kind of like relative to the default position of like where the players themselves would expect to be at, right? So what I mean by that is if we like go into characters, we go into idle and grab the human, and when we hop over here, you see where I placed the dude? It's kind of like not exactly where it should be on the tile. And so by incrementally tweaking where that exactly would be at, and I'm like, do we want it one over, or do we want, is it like fine where it is like here, because here it's nice and center, right? And that conforms to the default position of where our dude happens to be, and so this ends up kind of lining up nicely. And so if we did it this way, then all tiles that we do would need to conform to this kind of spec. You know, actually what's really cool, Yumi, about this whole setup that I'm doing here is that we can build for any primary platform. We're able to build for desktop, we're able to build for Windows, Mac, Linux, and web. And because we're able to build to web, we are also able to build in a way where mobile users can play our games in the browser. So if you design your game in the right way, then you'll be able to also create games for phone using this kind of setup. Sorry about the noise outside. I mean, it depends on what you mean by engine. This is actually using the raylib graphics library. So, like, as far as rendering goes, as far as, like, actually presenting and displaying pixels on the screen in a window, as far as taking input, yeah, a lot of that's raylib. And then I'm not doing my own data structures on one level. I'm using C++'s STL in a very heavily, you know, templated way. So I don't know if that answers your question, but like when we're getting into the actual mechanics of the game, yeah, it's going to be mine. Okay. So one thing I reasoned about off stream recently was that in our constructors for scenes, we're going to have to pass the input state. So to do that, excuse me. So the whole point of moving input state into the scenes themselves is that we want to be able to access the input state and handle different situations based on what the user presses from levels of abstraction below like the top level, right? So like previously what I've done is very complicated nested if statements that lead to just large amounts of, you know, huge blocks of code and having to move things around from like one function into another. But by doing it this way, we can isolate where relevant like input handling code can be, right? Like the code for handling the input on the title scene is in the file for the title scene, right? It's like we don't have to like do any sort of check to see if the code's there or not, because it is just going to run, and based on whatever class is running that method, that class is, you know, a handling of that input will execute instead of some other ones, and we don't have to like do a check for it, which is kind of useful. So how do we actually make use of that? So we're passing input state to each scene, and what we're going to do first is remove the current input handling code. So the way that it's supposed to work is that the game object calls input state update, and so we grab whatever keys are currently pressed on the keyboard, and then we're like, is the current scene the company scene? Well, if it is, check to see if the space key is pressed, and if that's pressed, go to the title scene. Very straightforward, right? So we're gonna get rid of that because we know that works. And then there is a basic thing that says like, if the scene that we're currently on, or like the scene that we're currently supposed to be on, is in our map of scenes, then we call its update method, which will have code similar to this. So we do the input state update here to like actually update the object itself, and then here is where we actually do the handling. So instead of current scene though, and instead of doing it here, now I realize switching scenes is actually going to be one of those things that's handled at the top level. But each scene object is going to need the ability to like do stuff, right? So we'll leave this in for the moment. However, in the actual title scene, let's override the update and add some actual fresh code here. So input state. At the very least, we can do something simple that verifies that we can actually do input at all over here, right? So if input state, let's see, looks like I forgot to finish typing something. Oh yeah, I did. Is shift held. There we go. Okay, input state is down. Wait, is held actually we'll do okay, so we know we can receive it events in the scene now, which is really good. Alright, so we want to get to the point where we're loading up graphics again. Okay, so this corresponds to the stone 0. So we started here and we got here. So what we're going to do next maybe we shouldn't flatten it. Actually, maybe this is actually a good time to set it up for a template. So we're going to do that again. Y'all like that graphic shit, huh? Y'all don't like that art. Y'all don't like that code shit. You like this graphic shit. Alright, let's go. So we're gonna do boom. Boom. Okay, so there we go. Something seems off about how I copied things over. All right, let's start here, right? All right, now we got everything we need. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what we want. Okay, we did that shit right. So now oh yeah, everything has to lower at the same time, right? So let's get rid of this bottom layer. Now we actually, I want to do it from the top. Okay, so now the human would otherwise go like rightish about here. Although everything maybe just a little bit lower. So he needs to, so that all the blocks need to come back up one. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Save as. Oh. No. Okay, so not PNG, but ASC, or like .asprite. So now we would export it as a PNG. So let's open it. Okay, so it looks fine. Alright, so what are we doing next? I want to shout out to everyone who's watching right now. I love you guys. Hope you're having a great day. Okay, so we save this. So our human can just hop on top. Pop. So let's get some grass. All right, so what does it do? check it out. Well, there's our grass. Let's drop our dude on top. Boom. Boom. So, like in theory, what would it look like if we were tiling them up, right? Notice that the order of the drawing actually matters a lot. If you have items in the back, you have to draw them first. But this is just kind of working out like the tiling math so that I can figure out nice. That sounds cool. So honestly, we've got enough here to start. So during the game init, when we init graphics, this is going to need to include the loading of textures. So in the previous implementation of all this, I had a giant array containing all of the graphics, and there was actually a hard pointer to each of these textures, or like whenever I needed them, a sprite would have a pointer that would point to it. This time around, we're going to do something different. This time around, we're going to have a and the reason that we need to make it a shared pointer is because we're going to end up passing this, just like the input state, to the scenes. So how do we make this work? So during the initialization, like in init graphics, somewhere in here, we're going to do tx equals make shared. What type did we say it is? Unordered map to int texture 2D. Int to make shared unordered map. Int texture texture 2D. Right? So now when we go to extend company scene and title scene, so let's do company scene first. So shared shared pointer unordered map int and then texture 2D tx. Right? So we're not doing anything with it over here in company scene. However, in title scene, so just like with this is equals is, just like when Bill Clinton asked for the definition of is, could you define the meaning of the word is for me, please? Just like with that, we gotta do this tx. So in scene, we have this pointer defined right here. Just like there, we're gonna pass that as a second variable so that we can keep track of the graph, or just like quickly have access to it. So like TX and IS aren't even used in company scene really. But in title scene, we're gonna go and copy that reference over. So we haven't loaded any graphics yet, so it's not like having any of this matters yet. So let's load some graphics. So after we've like created the space where the graphics can go, we can just do like We'll see how this goes. Oh shit. Oh, I forgot to update the there we go. Oh, nice. Okay. IMG tiles, isometric. Oh, it's stone slash. Okay, okay. Okay, now in the as a test of this, we're gonna draw Texture Pro, TX pointing to, let's see, origin rotation tints. Origin rotation tints. Nice. Okay. Check it out. Check it out. We got that shit. Fuck yeah. Oh yeah, that felt good. Oh shit. Shit, son. Oh shit, son. We got that shit, son. Watch this shit, son. What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, we're gonna be right back. I think. No, we're okay. I could order some drinks and shit though. Fuck. Yeah, we gotta take a break because my dog just got up. I'll put some music on for y'all.
Let's gather in solemn communion. Summoning for this demons. Twilight glows, Tirana aroused. Possessive eyes of too loud. Approach the demon. Approach the demon. Unto let go. Misfortune desired unset straight. Trophy to burn. Until London to swallow eastbound. Divided by a black pact to die. Listen the slow horn. Do not end the story. So it is done. You want a single speaking voice. Taking up one. Aberration yearning realized. Set free from that doom. Unto the unholy gloom of dark night. Where screams decay soon swallow the fear. Taking supreme goddess queen of eternity love. Phantom tide, about agility. Her horrors of strange. Pleasures unturned in sexual vastness. Celestial queen of void. Approach forever. Avalon. Sustain a lust. Submitting excavation madness. Insatiable beyond comprehension. Insatiable endless lust. Swallow the demon. So it is done. You want a beagle speaking voice. Taking up one. Aberration yearning realize. Set free from that doom. Unto the unholy gloom of dark night. Where screams decay soon swallow the fear. Taking supreme goddess queen of eternity love. Brooklyn and mud. Little elf boys, you wish not us of the earth. Fairy!
Okay, I'm making some coffee. And I'm pretty sure my dog wants me to sit next to her for a minute. At the very least. I'll go say hi. I believe that is Omar in the chat. He was saying it's his first day studying computer science tomorrow. And he wants any tips. So, without being a total dick or an asshole, you know, my first question is really more like, what is your experience like with regards to computers before today, right? Like, what have you tried to do on your own? Because the biggest difference between those who were not only successful students, but much further ahead than their peers, and thus able to get better grades, and not only that, get those early opportunities in the tech world where, you know, they really rose to positions and status because they got there through hard work. Don't expect everything to be handed to you. That's a really big one. Computer science is not for the faint-hearted. It is not for people who give up easily. It is not for people who don't enjoy solving problems. It is not for people who don't enjoy puzzles. It's not for those who don't enjoy little nitty-gritty details. If that sounds like you, then you're welcome to the fucking club, because I like this shit. But on the same token, you know, not everybody jams out with the CS flow, and you gotta keep in mind that, you know, not everyone thinks like we do. And sometimes it may not even be something that comes naturally for you. It might be something that you like, but you want to get better at. Maybe it's something that, like, piques your interest. That's how I got into it. It was a long time ago. I asked the question, how do I make games? And then that led to programming. Along the way, I've done some cool stuff. And everybody takes a different path. And don't be impatient when it comes to, like, picking these things up. You might not be hot shit now, but you very well could be hot shit very quickly if you play your cards right. But the important thing is to not rush and to enjoy the ride, because it shows something fundamental, core, and universal about our relationship to the universe around us. And it's that there is a correct way of thinking. And even if your solutions are not optimal, what matters is that you're able to get to a solution at all, and that you're able to upgrade your own processes and improve yourself. If you can improve yourself and demonstrate that you can improve yourself by starting from point A, ending up at point B, and showing that point B is far better than point A, then you're doing good. I know it's really generic and abstract, but, you know, computer science is generic and abstract at its best. It's meant to be something that represents a model of our universe and how things operate at a fundamental level. Not everyone may agree with my viewpoint, but if everything in the universe can be represented as a 0 or a 1, then those zeros and ones can be encoded into plain text. And so everything in life is actually plain text. So everything is potentially code. Data and code, code and data. What was he thinking, my creator? Code and data, data and code. Stunting on the game, fucking all of these hoes. So, if I were to be sarcastic about it giving advice, I would say that you're way too fucking late. You should have been studying this stuff on your own a long time ago. What the fuck is wrong with you? What took you so long? And it's an honest question because not everyone gets into the game when they do, and we do genuinely have reasons sometimes as to why we don't get into things earlier, right? Like, I first learned to program when I was like 11 or 12 years old on a Tandy machine on MS-DOS, self-taught, using MS-DOS books that my grandmother got me. And I was like I said, 11 or 12. And I would have done it earlier if I had access to a computer before that. So, you know, that's my excuse, is that my parents didn't get me a computer when I was a kid growing up. They instead got me a Nintendo Entertainment System, you know, whereupon my first memory is playing Super Mario Brothers. So if they had gone another route, if they had taken another path in the universe, I would have gotten a computer when I was 3 instead of an NES, and then I would be in a different place. So, you know, like, if you just didn't even have the thought, you know, because you were... It's like you have to ask yourself, why are you getting into something, right? I got into computer science because I wanted to make games. That led to a lot of different things along my journey. But at the end of the day, you know, it was making games. That was the initial motivator. So, you know, if you're like just now getting into CS and you're thinking that you're going to get a job, wrong move. Totally wrong move. If you think you have something very unique and interesting to contribute to the field, by all means, you know, research and academia is a great... It's probably the best idea. Like, if you're going to be going into comp sci and you're like new and you like have no prior experience and you haven't been doing shit already, then it's a really good idea to like stake your money on going into research, because AI is so big right now that for all of the threats and loss of jobs that it has for the regular, you know, layman, not only in computer science but in other industries as well, for all of that stuff, the best thing I can say is that if you want to secure your job, like potential, then you need to go into academic level LLM research, AI research in general, maybe not even necessarily LLMs. You could go some other pathway. You know, there are other types of or there's stuff out there besides LLMs. You know what I mean? So realistically, like, going into research is probably like the strongest move you can make as far as like not only securing like the bag for your own future, but also for like the most potential for making the world a better place now. Because for all of the influence that AI has, there's still a lot to do. Like, there's like, it's so new in its infancy that even though like shit is moving at this rapid of a pace, like, we have to also take a look at it from another perspective where we see not much has really happened. You know, it really hasn't changed that much. Like, for all the time that I've been using Copilot, I don't feel like the quality of Copilot has really changed like that much. Like regular ask, like Vim Copilot, I don't think it's really changed that much. It really hasn't. A lot of people don't believe me when I say I've been using Copilot like in Vim since before Microsoft acquired GitHub and Copilot. Because like right after fucking it dropped on GitHub, Microsoft scooped that shit up real fast. It was like that, like lickety split. Microsoft said, "Oh shit, we got ourselves a fucking golden goose." That shit paying off in spades. Not only for me, but for them as well, right? Okay, so you've done some Java, you've done some Scratch, you've done some you've done some Python. So you've gotten your feet wet, which is good. The best thing, like it's a question of like what your end goal is too, like what you're ultimately after. Are you trying to get a regular ass job where you build web apps and you code monkey it up for a corporation? I think those jobs are really fucking dead. Like, real talk. I think a lot of front end positions, I think a lot of junior level roles are really getting fucking destroyed. Like, absolutely thrown through the fucking meat grinder. It's an absolute slaughterfest. AI is absolutely killing it at the easy code shit. There's so much easy code shit that, like, we spend our like early years getting good at and learning how to stub out ourselves, that the AI is able to just shit it out. Just absolutely just fucking regurgitate stuff that is absolutely within spec and totally usable and really not hard to like tweak and kind of configure towards what it is that you're actually wanting to build. that's not where the real jobs are like at right now, right? So going into research, that's a really important thing to do. Not to mention security. Security is huge. It's going to be even bigger, and it's already bigger than it's ever been. Real talk. Not to mention with the introduction of the AI and the LLMs and like everybody integrating all of this AI stuff into their products, the attack surface has 10x'd, you know, if that. It's just gone bananas. There's so many vulnerabilities out there. And using the AIs actually to find some of these vulnerabilities is more than just a viability. It's something that people are already doing. And so there's a lot of opportunity for enterprising people who want to not only take advantage of this shifting landscape where traditional jobs are not really like the thing. It's, you know, you obviously want to like secure some sort of salary and some sort of like benefits package, but I think the means by which young people do this now is gonna have to be like a lot more aggressive. Like if there's one thing that wouldn't work for me now that did work when I was growing up, that wasn't something I was trying to do, but it just was something that happened, was like I got my first like professional role as a web developer and then later as a iOS developer. I didn't know iOS at the time, but I was willing to learn it because someone was willing to pay for me to learn it. So that led to my first corporate role doing iOS development, and that led to my first professional security consultation role doing mobile penetration testing because of my experience as a mobile developer. Now, I never intended on becoming a mobile developer by any stretch of the imagination. It was not in my plan. It was just something that happened. The iPhone kind of became big, so did Android, like towards the end of college, like when I was graduating and stuff. And then by 2011, you know, the iPhone 4 was like really starting to pop off the hood. And, you know, like, I just rolled with it. Like, it was like, okay, well, whatever. So long as y'all pay me, I don't really care. So being willing to pick up things that other people want to pay you for, absolutely something that you have to figure out what is the price point, because you're going to figure out that there's tools that you don't like to work with, but people are willing to give you money to work with, and you're going to have to make a decision on whether or not it's worth it for you to forego any sort of pain that might come with learning a certain tool or a certain language or a certain framework. Hi. Hello, Miguel. I can see you. I see your chats. Here, let me make my coffee, right? Coffee time. my break. I think we're going to step out here for a minute too. Fucking game. So yeah, there's a lot to do still, but this is a good start. I'm gonna have to stub out like the gameplay scene, you know, like the whole kind of workflow, like when you start a new game and all that stuff, right? So just like with the old setup, you know, every floor, like floor of the dungeon, as far as objects go, is going to be called a dungeon floor. Every dungeon will be composed of dungeon floors. The world map will be composed of dungeons. Or actually, better yet, in addition to that, every dungeon will be attached to a town. Potentially. Or like a top level map. Or something to this effect. We will also want tower type infrastructure. But I want like really heavy procedural generation of like location as well as a bunch of other things.
motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. When I got my coffee, I'm the motherfucking top B. Coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking top B. I need my motherfucking coffee. 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 Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I'm the motherfucking top B.
You are now listening to Evil Dojo Dark Mage in the house with the sick flow. You are now listening to Evil Dojo Dark Mage in the house with the sick flow. listening to Evil Dojo. Dark Mage in the house with the sick flow.
Alright, I'm back. Who we got watching right now? Who we got in the chat? See, we actually hit a peak of 17 viewers a little while ago. That's pretty cool. We're getting some likes on this stream. Goddamn. Appreciate y'all. I was thinking about moving over to the big screen over here. So like, what would that look like if I were to do that? Okay, so there's my other monitor. So if I were to move that over there, there we go, okay. Okay, so that's still good. Let me move my my shit over real quick. Let's see how this works out. Okay. Okay, so we're passing texture info into each scene. So let's see what's necessary to like draw a second one, right? Like in like we want to like start figuring out the math for the tiling. It's very small here. So we're actually gonna draw a fucking game on top. So this is with no camera offset. So like, we want to like start figuring things out from like the leftmost, backmost tile, right? So just fucking around here. None of this code is permanent right now. So we're just gonna grab like the whole texture, which includes like a lot of transparent space behind it. And we're just gonna drop it in the XY of 0, 0, like we're already doing. But now, like if we wanted to like hard code something in, let's say we add width to the X, and then we update the destination so that it points to the new X, right? Then we draw that texture, and then we draw like the lines around the texture. Now you get this, right? So you can see like for the textures, there's a significant amount of gap in between the actual tile and the edges of the actual texture that contains it. So how do we deal with that, right? Like, we know exactly how many pixels, and we do kind of. So like we can I like do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Okay, so it's 8 in either direction. So if we add width, then that's too far. But then if we move it back by like 8, let's see where it sits. Okay, so it's a little bit closer. You can see the overlap. You can see that the remaining gap looks very, it looks like the same amount of gap on either side. So what we actually need to do, subtract 16 to account for both of those sides. Now it looks pretty good. Look at that, right? So if we stop drawing the lines for a moment, we can observe what the overlaying situation there looks like. And that looks not bad. So what we want to do now is subtract, or rather add, see, that's too far down, right? So what's the distance on top? $15? Okay, that looks closer. Notice that the intersecting box looks to be about the size of the actual graphic itself, right? So how much further up? Okay, we're getting closer. In fact, this looks like the correct alignment for having a gap of one tile in between these two tiles. So we're very close. Ooh, even closer still. Oh, too far. Just so we get a better look at it. I'm gonna zoom in. It's kind of far, but that works. Okay, so we need to pull it back 2 to the left. And 2 up. It just looks a little bit off. That looks more correct. $32, 24, 6. That's just 8. 5. Minus 28, 38. This is 32. 28. Okay. Let's see if that holds true. Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. Let's zoom out a bit. There you go. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Got fucking game. All right. Before I start drawing swastikas and stuff, let's actually do a full grid. Got bars, son. Got bars. Now, if we wanted to go like a because this is like drawing them to the right. So what if we were going in the other direction? So this is where we would need to update the camera offset a bit. Oops. So if we wanted to start going and create like a 5x5 grid, so in this case, x would equal x minus 8 times I. And then y would equal y plus 4 times I, right? But then there's also a factor of like where the next like row sits. Because if we're like going through one row right now, then we have to do the next row beneath it. So we draw a tile and then we move down and to the left. So this is all predicated upon like x and y starting at 0, 0. In fact, I think this is a little bit maybe we should do it the other way. Okay, so that's not quite right, but we're in the right direction. Okay, so we need to move left 4 and then up 4. Okay, that's almost it. Oh shit, there we go. Whoa. Oh, there it is. That's fucking cool, man. I don't care what you say. That's fucking cool. That's actually really cool. I fuck with that. But the offset check is very clearly bananas. So let's do 10 and 10 instead. Let's do 20. Hell yeah. Rapid oscillation. Let's go. Oh shit. We gotta make it staggered somehow. So really what we want here is get random value from negative 20 to 20. Three, 4, 5. Ew. Doing that for each one? Fuck. But this would be only an initialization. Two, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's fuck with it a little bit. fuck, what am I thinking of doing next? Oh yeah, I was gonna make the size of the window bigger. Let's just make sure the stretching works properly. Yeah, it works. What about the grass tiles, now that we've got this working? So, over in game, There we go. course, this this tile floating thing is more of a visual effect, not really something that's actually going to be a mechanic. But I think I've got enough, like, moving parts that we can effectively do our own, like, tactics style, RPG game. Not to mention continue the work on the roguelike as well. But in order to get to that point, I'm going to have to re-implement dungeons. I'm going to have to re-implement like the basics of getting the character on the screen and moving him around in a small dungeon environment. There's a lot of initial legwork that I'm going to have to do in order to like get all that stuff going. As it is, I've been on quite a bit today already. What's good? What's good, people? How y'all doing? Yeah, actual programming. I do appreciate that. That's very kind of you. One of the nicest compliments I've ever heard. Oh yeah. No, I meant to use sine wave stuff. I'm just retarded. I do stuff the hard way. Let's see here. What am I missing? Got lots of people watching, dude. Goddamn. I appreciate y'all. Maybe I could keep pushing on. Here, what we'll do is we'll swap back over to this monitor. And I should be able to do this. It's not an IDE at all. It's NeoVim. If you've never heard of NeoVim, or if you've never heard of Vim, highly encourage you to educate yourself. I just learned this Hanzi. It's like de. It's like a possessive marker. So like, wode. Wode baba. Wode mama. Dude, snuffs are gross. That's disgusting. Also, I like that you could hear me. Also, I like that you're assuming that I'm vaping nicotine. I'm actually resisting going and getting nicotine vapes, and I've actually got this. This is actually a cannabis oil vape. So, I mean, they do make cannabis gummies, and it's not like I don't do those also, but I mean, it's harmful in a different way. I watched my grandma do a lot of snus and pouches, and it's really bad for your teeth. It's also bad for your throat. It's not like each one of these is without its own problems. But in general, you want to protect your lungs. You want to protect your teeth. You want to do things to, if you do these things already, to try and like mitigate the damage done over time, by pushing back somehow. But you gonna go out there and tell cigarette smokers to start like dipping? You're gonna go out there and tell people who vape to start dipping? Really? I'm not sure that tracks. I'm not sure that's like the way forward. Because I think a lot of people who vape would rather not. And a lot of people who get onto vaping were previously cigarette smokers. Or maybe still are in a lot of regards, right? But at the same time, I see where you're coming from, and I appreciate the sentiment for sure. But shit, I would so much rather, like, if I had a girlfriend, I would so much rather her smoke cigarettes than like dip. You know what I mean? Like, because imagine that you're like kissing on your girlfriend and she has a thing for either vaping or cigarette smoke, or like even cigarette smoke and vaping. Like, I would so much rather my chick do that than fucking dip. Snus without taboo, or is that without tobacco? Because snus without tobacco sounds like useless. Because the whole point is to but yeah, like imagine like you're making out with your chick. Like, I would so much rather my chick have cigarette mouth than like fucking snus mouth, or like fucking dip mouth. You know what I mean? Like, one of these is much less gross than the other. Why? So it's very interesting that a whole country would be pushing to move away from vape in favor of snus. I wonder do you mind telling me which country? Because that's really interesting. And two, like, if I were to just like try and rationalize it out before you answer, and try to like see where the logic might be coming from, because like a lot of these vape products come from China. So America would have a really big incentive to push for its citizens to not participate in the acquisition of the products made by its adversaries, right? So there would be, like, if it was America pushing snus, it would make a lot of sense, because a lot of American dip products are made here in the United States. So it would make a lot of sense to like want to redirect the money that will be spent by nicotine consumers in general from one location to another. And if they're going to be buying anything at all, you want them to buy American, right? So if they're not buying American, what are they buying? They're buying Chinese vapes. So I don't know how like Russia is. I've seen a lot of Russian cammers and cam girls and shit have vapes. And I know Russia and China are kind of like, you know, tight knit and everything. So it's like, it makes sense that you would see the country acquire its products from, you know, that location. So there is something to that. But no, this is actually a Girl Scout cookies vape. I've had it for a long time, actually. And I'm really impressed at how long it's lasted. It's not like I've been using it every day, but... Excuse me. It's there when I want it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So, it is a big problem here in the United States that we collectively pay in to Medicare and stuff like this, and we try to like outsource the, you know, the medical care of like people who otherwise can't afford it. And so it is definitely a good, you know, that is definitely a rationalization that we've had here in the United States as well. You know, people don't want to have to pay for other people's health care if those people were making decisions that led to them needing the health care to begin with. So, like, as an example, this is something talked about in the context of overweightness and people who have, like, eating disorders and who have difficulty losing weight. It's also just as valid of a concern there. Who's crazy? And who's king? Am I crazy? Am I the king? Am I a crazy king? I'm okay with that, I guess. But it's interesting that Saudi Arabia is so like aggressively pushing for the adoption of snus in opposition, because it's not like it just because you like swap for, you know, vaping or smoking for eating, you know, something, doesn't mean that there's not going to be side effects. So like a lot of people who dip will develop throat cancer, as an example. You can get cancer of the mouth. You can get gum cancer. Y'all like this shit that I, whenever I do a reload, we get a brand new different Hanzi over here in the prompt. I don't know what they all mean, but the whole point is to teach myself. Well, yeah, that was the whole reason he broke bad, dude. I mean, shit. the whole reason that Walter White became what he was in the story was because he was diagnosed with cancer, and he realized, his time on this earth is limited. And so for the time that, he had been just, teaching high school chemistry class and, not getting all of the big deals and breaks that his colleagues had gotten, not seeing the kind of like notoriety and success and respect that someone of his skill set really demanded. You're fucking right that he decided to start making blue crystal meth. Decided, he was gonna fucking mad science the fuck out. I forget why it was specifically meth. He could have used his chemistry knowledge to have, done the same shit with, like, cocaine. He could have chosen marijuana. He could have chosen heroin. He could have, what's another drug? Someone shout out a couple drugs that would have been he could have been the fucking he could have made like the blue crystal meth version of mushrooms, of LSD. He could have done some really crazy shit with his knowledge. And from his perspective, he was just following the science. He wasn't even doing anything that special. He was just passionate about quality work. He was just really aggressive about like how good like the steps themselves had to be, because it was just like following a recipe. Yeah, that makes sense. If it was something he was just like, because he could have gone in any direction, but you always follow the money. You always you aim for the low hanging fruit. And if some junked out, whacked out junkie can make it in their fucking kitchen, then why can't a chemistry teacher do it in a trailer out in the middle of the desert in their underwear because it's so fucking hot that you have to get near buck naked. Why not? That was a really fucking great show. I watched most of it with my grandma. Actually, the first episode I ever watched, I was high as shit, chilling with grandma, and we were both like mind blown at how good it was, and we were just hooked. Such like most TV is actually trash, but Breaking Bad is one of those shows that it's like so cinema to like run through the whole thing. I can't think of like a really bad part of the story. Maybe like most of Better Call Saul was kind of meh. Oh yeah, my grandma, not only did my grandma like that show, she also liked Game of Thrones. Party, winner, party, winner, party, winner, party, winner, one winner next to another winner. Two wieners alongside yet another wiener. Wiener party, wiener party, wiener party, wiener party, wiener. Damn, I got like no lung capacity. Fuck. Alright, well. What are we doing? I'm taking a break. That's what I'm doing. All right. We've started the long journey to re-implementation of what I had in the original Project.RPG code base. This is going to be like the core of a lot of things going forward. So I want to make sure it's really good. If it's really hard for me to do shit, the chances of me actually building stuff are going to be really low. So I have to like build things in a way that makes life easier over time. What do y'all want to do? See, we're going in and out on viewers. We've peaked at 20 so far, and there's currently, looks like between 11 and 14 on one platform, and we're getting a lot of likes. This is actually really kind of hype. Super thrilled for this turnout. Can't thank y'all enough. So what's the kind of want to take a break and eat, and then honestly I think it's time for some Skyrim again soon. Oh wow, we're getting some subs. Shit. Fuck yeah. Shout outs to everyone who has subscribed so far. Much appreciated. We are really getting some consistent fucking views in the last hour. Goddamn. A lot of views on today's video. On today's stream. Appreciate y'all. Can't thank you enough, man. It is because of y'all that I'll be able to do this as a full-time thing. That's one thing that I'd like to be able to get up on and show you how it is. I don't know what else to say, but my dog just woke up, so maybe it is a good time for us to go. Until next time, everyone. Thank you for joining again. It's Dark Mage of Evil Dojo. Always a pleasure. You know what to do. I'm not going to be right back, but what I'd like for you to do is please like the stream, subscribe to my channel, and follow my socials. Peace out, everyone. Take it easy till next time.